Cat's in charge. Okay, so sitting, I'm very far back. Let me just tip this a tiny bit before we stand up. Okay. So just sitting in like a Tadasana, right? So feet together, knees apart. I'm just going to do a little thumping. So a little thump and chest. Thump feet, feet, chest. You can do soft fist. It's not really about strength. It's really just that body tapping. You can keep changing the cross of the arms just to feel how the arms respond. Tap, tap, cross, thump, thump, tap, tap, cross. Okay. Let's sit cross-legged. Just going to bring right hand to left knee. And then I'm going to bring my left hand onto my right base of neck. And we'll do, so I'm going to use one arm, right, just to pull me to a side bend. And then I'm going to use the other arm to pull me to a side bend. Again, these aren't huge movements. And then I'm going to let that left hand move down the shoulder. Right, and give a little, it's like a slight pull from a different place on the shoulder. And then moving the hand again down towards the shoulder cap. And then let's do that again. So we'll do 3 holds, one close to the base of the neck, right? So you feel that little pull across to one side with one arm and pull across to the other side. Move the hand, mid shoulder, and then shoulder cap. Let's do that again, base of neck. So when you're tipping left, that left hand has a little pull on the neck, move down a little bit, mid shoulder, and a little pull, and then shoulder cap, and a little pull. And then just come back and notice. And let's do the other side. So left hand, right knee, and right hand, base of neck. And just this little kind of pull and tip to one side and pull and tip to the other side. Good. And then again, let's do mid shoulder. So when you tip to the right, that right hand pulls the shoulder across to the right, and then shoulder cap with that right hand. And then back up to the base of the neck. Even just the awareness, right? Hand on shoulder, just feeling all of that tissue, right? Which we usually hold a lot of our attention there. And back to the top, back to the base of the neck. Mid shoulder. And then shoulder cap. Good. And then again, coming back to center. All right. So actually we'll do bent legs again and then straight legs. So just hands, maybe hands to forehead, even just holding your eyes for a moment. I know that's not so easy if you're wearing glasses, but tracing down the back of your head, kidney area. So back of ribs, lower back, outer hips, outer thighs, shins to feet. And then let's do that 2 more times, just kind of sweeping down the back line of the body, brushing. And then we're going to reverse it. So I'm going to go from toes to knees to thighs, up the front line of the body, arms out and up. And then forward and brushing up the front of the body, arms out and up. Again, from toes to knees to hips, belly, chest, then out. Last time, because that feels good. Outer legs, belly, chest, up and out. And then let's do a couple. Just sweeping tops of feet, toes, shins, thighs, up and out. And again, toes, shins, thighs, up and out. Last one. Good, and up and out. Good. Okay, and then let's see if we can do this without hands, because you never know. We're just gonna take, let's actually do this without hands to start. So hands forward. We do this all the time with the hands behind us. So just letting the knees shift side to side. Good. Using the arms to help you turn, to help you balance. You can turn, right? Come all the way into your Z sit and turn. Good. I'm good. I'm sliding across the room. And then let's come to one side. I'm going to come back to the right. And I'm again, without hands, I'm just going to bring back knee to the front knee, shift onto shins, step forward, step forward. Okay, maybe that's something that we need to play with a little bit. Okay, but let's start standing. Okay, just a short little feet parallel, feet a little wide, just a little swing, just to warm up the back and the arms. Good. Head can either look forward or swing with the torso with the arms. And again, let's just do a little bending of the arms, letting the arms move, that tapping up the body. Right, tapping the surface, but that tap moving through into organs. And all the way up, shoulder blade, upper lungs, heart. And then slowly back down. Stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen, intestines. All the way down. Pelvic organs, uterus, bladder, rectum. Good. And slowly, slowly center. Okay, so, well, let's just do it. So feet a little wider than that. Good, a simple tip. Let's take the opposite arm up and over. And slowly back up, leading from that top arm, other side. Top arm up and over. And coming up, other side. And up and over, second side. And back up to center. Letting one knee bend. So torso still a little bit upright. And straighten, second side. And straighten. And just notice that your access to movement through the ankles, through the knees, through the hips. First side again. And second side again. Center, let's fold over the legs. Good. So right hand on the floor, left, start with the elbow. So bending that left arm, drawing the elbow to the ceiling, turning the ribs to that left side. Maybe extending that left arm up. And then reverse, coming down, left hand down, bending that right arm, right elbow to the ceiling. And then maybe right arm up. And down, switching first side again. And left hand down, right elbow up. And right arm up. And right hand down. First side again. So this time with the arm up, playing with, right, depends on where the arm is, but you can take that arm overhead, maybe let the hips swing back. And then let that hand release to the floor. Right elbow up to the ceiling. Then maybe extend the arm. And then taking that arm overhead, sweeping the hips back as the arm comes down. Good. And then hands to the floor, both hands down, and letting your weight shift forward into your hands and letting your heels lift. And letting your heels lower and let your weight shift back. So rather than walking the hands forward to get that downward dog feeling, let your hips swing way back. Uh-oh. I lost Susan. I lost you, Susan. How long have you been lost? I can't hear you. You want to unmute yourself and just... Okay, keep going. All right, come back up to stand. Okay, hands under shoulders, hips swing back, just feeling that stretch. And then let your weight shift forward onto your hands, let your heels lift. Feel that lift through the thighs and the hips. And then heels lower. And again, sweep the hips back, way back, lean back. And then let your weight shift forward. Heels lift, way up to the ceiling. Heels lower, last time. Hips pull way back. And shift forward. And lifting that heels. And this time, keep the heels lifted, lift those hips, but let the knees bend. Come into a little squat with the heels up. And then lift the hips and lower the heels. And lift the heels, bend the knees, stay up on the ball of the foot. As you bend those knees. And then lift the hips and lower the heels. One more like that, lifting the heels, feel those hips lifting, 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 and then bending the knees. Lower the hips. Maybe even look forward. And then lower the heels, lift the hips. Good. Let's bend the knees and round up to stand. Good, and let's heels together, toes together, heels together, feet just a little bit closer, bending and straightening. Bending and straightening. Good. Bending, see if you can, again, lift the heels, doesn't matter how much, could be half an inch. Could be all the way up. And then slowly lower and straighten the legs. And bend. And again, lifting the heels. Lowering the heels. And straighten. Last one like that, bending. Again, doesn't matter how high the heels lift. It could be just grazing the floor, an inch up, all the way up. And then slowly lower and straighten. Good. And then maybe have a blanket handy just in case. But let's play with lowering towards a squat. And then slowly come up. And lowering towards a squat. And slowly come up. This time we're going to stay down. So maybe feet a little wider. Again, you can always have your heels up on something. Right, could be an edge of the blanket. I'm just going to give myself a little. You can lift your heels quite a bit if you want. 2 blankets. You can put something behind your knees if you need to put a blanket rolled up behind your knees and a blanket under your heels. Do that. 3 more breaths. Good. And then hands down and straighten. Good. And let's just take hands to the floor, Uttanasana. Maybe even lifting up to a flat back, whether your hands come onto your shins or on the floor, even pressing the hands into the shins into the hands. Looking forward and then releasing the head down, hands down, arms long. Good, let's do that again, coming up either on shins. Feels really good to press into the shins, shins into the hands, like feeling the upper back, getting awakened. And then releasing back over the legs. Good, hands to the floor. And even here, let's just let the weight shift into the hands a tiny bit. Lift the heels, could be half an inch, could be more. And slowly lower. Again, a little bit of a flat back. And a little rounding. Hands to the floor, shift your weight into your hands. Just imagining lifting your hips up, 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 heels up, 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 and lower. Good, last one. Flat back. And round. And let your weight shift into your hands. Hands could even be much further forward. Just letting your heels lift a little, a lot. Feel the relationship, hands to hips, to feet. And then fold over your legs. Bending your knees, rounding up to stand. Good. Okay, let's grab our blocks. Brief moment. So we are going to start standing. And if you need to be near a wall, finger on a wall, if you need to be near a chair. We've done this before. I'm just going to step back with a 1 foot, little step. Good. And you can even let your weight drop back into the heel of the back foot and then lift the heel. A little posterior tilt. This time I'm going to bend both knees. And straighten. And bend. Let's take arms out to the side or hands on hips. And straighten. Maybe arms forward. Bend. And straighten. And maybe arms up. Bend. And straighten. One more out to the side. Good, and even hands on hips. Good, and with that weight, that back foot step forward. Oh, little hummingbird. Good. Just bringing the second foot back. Again, I'm just going to roll to the heel. Just feel that weight shift or weight down through both legs. Lifting that back heel again, little posterior tilt. So there's a little bit of opening in the front of the back thigh. And then let's bend both knees. Bringing that back knee to the floor. Maybe arms out to the side. And down to the floor. Arms out in front. And bend. Arms up to the ceiling. And bend. Arms out to the side. And bend. And arms alongside the body. And bend. And straighten, step that back foot forward. Good, inhale the arms out and up. Let's look up. And exhale, arms out and down. Folding over the legs. Good, hands on blocks. Let's take one leg back. Coming into a lunge. Good, let that back knee come to the floor. And let's even stand the blocks up and bring the blocks back towards the hips. Good, if you need cushion under that knee, if you need to keep the back knee off the floor, if you need to keep much more weight in the foot, play with that. And let's just take one arm forward and up, letting the sitting bones get heavy. And then other arm forward and up. Hands down, hands on blocks, back knee lifts, downward dog. Good, that same foot forward. Back knee slowly to the floor or to whatever support you need. And again, you can always keep much more weight in the foot than the knee. Takes a little more work, but that's okay. Walks up. Hands by hips. One arm forward and up. Keeping the sitting bones heavy and the back foot heavy. Other arm forward and up. Hands down. Walks down, lift the back knee, step back to downward dog. Good, lift the hips up. Let's walk the feet forward. Good, and just a little kind of oddity. I'm just going to bring the blocks to the floor and step up on the blocks. And if you want to have your blankets handy or a chair handy, bending the knees, letting the ribs rest on the thighs, letting the head hang. And then again, slowly lift the hips, straighten the legs. They might not straighten all the way. Right, your fingers can be on the floor, they can be on the blocks, they can be on blankets. Bend, let the ribs rest. Let the back spread, let the ribs spread. And lifting the hips, slowly straighten.
One more, bending. And just noticing, I'm gonna walk my hands to one side, towards the outside of one foot or one block. Just to get some space in those side ribs. Center and then over to the other side. Couple breaths into those side ribs, back ribs. Center. And straighten those legs again. Good, and bend the knees. And your choice, you can either keep your feet on the block and round up to stand, or you can step off the blocks. And then round up to stand. Okay. Last two things. So again, feet between the blocks, blocks to the side. Inhale, arms out and up, looking up. Arms out and down. Good. So I'm keeping my right foot forward just so that I can kind of show you where I'm going. Left foot stepping back. And I'm going to let that front leg, that right leg straighten. And I'm just going to lean that right block, right hand out to the side. So it's, I don't know, at least a foot away from the foot. Just leaning into the hand, into the block. Left arm up. And you can always have that block closer. And then coming back to center, and I'm going to switch sides. So left hand and block, lean out to the left. Right arm up to the ceiling. You can let the hips move away from the shoulders. And then right hand down. And again, listen, feel into what feels good. You can bend the knees a little bit if there's too much big, stretchy movement. Right hand out to the side, hips leaning away from the hand. Maybe even looking up to the left hand. Second side, leaning on the left hand, right arm up, hips away from the left hand. Playing with arms, hips, back to center. Let's step back to downward dog. And left foot forward. Same thing, right? You get to decide how far out the block wants to be, right? It just kind of opens up the side body a little bit more, the further the hand is away from the body, and the further the hips reach away from the hand. And coming down and tipping out to the right. Right hand on the block, hips shift to the left. Maybe even that left arm comes overhead. It's a little more of a rotated position. Focusing a little more on the side body in a different way. Left hand out to the side, right arm up. Over. Just taking things out of the sagittal plane. And other side, right hand down, left arm up. Good. And last time, downward dog. Good, and let's shift to plank. Good, let's bring knees to the floor. Good, a little anterior tilt in the pelvis, a little posterior tilt, and maybe shift the hips forward towards a kind of upward facing dog, maybe knees off the floor. And back to downward dog. Good, knees to the floor. Okay, coming onto your back. Just gonna move this stuff away.
So arms out to the side. I'm just going to play with squeezing the shoulder blades together and spreading the shoulder blades wide. And maybe even floating the arms off the floor a little to feel that squeeze. Right shoulder blade into the spine, left shoulder blade in, and then both wide. One more like that, squeeze and spread. And then one on the floor, see if you can feel it more. It's a little bit easier with the hands off the floor. And then let your back settle, right? Noticing what was working, maybe what was overworking. And then let's take the arms out and up like we're holding a giant beach ball. Shoulder blades are wide. And I'm just gonna let a little push come into the right foot, tipping the pelvis and the ribs and the head to the left. A little small movement. And then pressing into that left foot as you come back through center and over to the other side. So pelvis turns a little, ribs, head turns a little. Right, and we're just holding this ball and rocking across the back of the body. Across the back of the body. Good, and then coming back to center. And I'm just going to side bend a little bit. I'm still holding my ball, but I'm going to let my right shoulder tip to my right hip hike to my right shoulder a little, maybe even the head is rolling to the right. So there's this side bend. And then I'm going to try to roll my ball in that side bend. So again, there's that little press into the left foot to roll to the right, and the ball may go down a little. And then as I go left, might go up a little. So there's this interesting side bend diagonal rotation happening. Good, and maybe even when you roll to the right, maybe the right arm comes down and the left arm comes over and you roll a little bit more. Or same with the other side. That right foot presses, that left arm comes to the floor. Maybe even you look towards the left hand. It all depends on how big or how small you want to explore this. And then coming back to center. And let's just tip to the other side. Left shoulder to the hip, hip to the shoulder, head to the shoulder, little side bend to the left. And same thing, just a little rock to the left and to the right, one moving down, one moving up, just because of that side bend. And again, it can be quite small, or it can get more open, right? The arm that's closest to the floor maybe comes to the floor, maybe the head turns towards that arm more. Good. Up to the right and down to the left. Good. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, just releasing your beach ball, stretching your legs out, toes in and out. Just a little rock of the head, one side, center, other side, small rock. If
If you need anything under your knees, take it. Just a couple more nice, slow, easy breaths, letting the body really settle down, down, down into the ground and back into yourself. Right, letting your awareness come to your toes, the space between the toes. Even tracing the sole of the foot, or the back of the leg against the floor, the back of the knee or the back of the thigh against the floor, what's touching, what's not touching, the back of the hips, the back of the waist, even just the quality in the tissue, the muscles in the body. Is there ease? Is there busyness? Back of the ribs. Noticing the quality of the breath. Back of the neck and back of the head. If you can drop into your center, notice where that is. See if you can find it somewhere other than your mind. In your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees, hands on belly. One hand on belly, one hand on heart. Right, just inviting that presence into your body with that sense of the body as consciousness, intelligence. Let's actually inhale and exhale with an Om. Om. Roll to your side. Head passive, moving more from your body, your hands, your feet, your limbs, your breath. Bring up to sit. Together in front of your heart. Let's do one last Om, just as an offering to ourselves, to our health, to our hearts, even out to the world. Peace and balance, repair, wherever it is needed. Inhale. Om.